Everyone tells you to journal, to meditate, to breathe, or to go for a mental health walk. But what nobody talks about is, what if happiness doesn't start with what you do or the habits you set into place, the systems you create for yourself, but rather how you think? I studied psychology and I'm also a coach helping people to navigate through their own human experience and to help them find happiness, purpose, or whatever it is they want to find in their lives. And today I want to break down what science actually tells us about happiness. So, what actually works and what doesn't. And what I found out is that happiness, it's not a trend, it's not a filter, it's a skill, and you can learn it too. Most people don't know this, but studies show that 90% of happiness isn't made up of what happens to us, but of how we choose to live every day in our lives. And yet, almost everyone keeps making these 5 mistakes that keep them stuck, that keep them unhappy. And the question is, are you making them too? Let's dive right into it. Mistake number 1 is chasing the good feeling. Because many people believe that you need to feel good all the time in order to be happy. They think you need to have all of the positive emotions in order to be happy. What are positive emotions? Joy, pride, curiosity, awe, but also love, empathy, and all of these things that we consider positive emotions, that we consider feeling good. And people keep chasing them because they think that's it. When I have all these emotions and just have them inside of me without the negative emotions, then I will be happy. Because our negative emotions, I hate to call them negative, but it's just a term. The negative emotions that don't feel so comfortable, like anger, sadness, fear, or frustration, which is a mixture of anger and fear maybe. Then we have contempt, or the negative version of pride. So there's so many emotions that are considered as not good that make us feel bad sometimes, even because we feel in our bodies that, I don't know, our stomach is hurting, or there's like tightness in our chest, we have difficulty to breathe, or whatever it is that you're feeling when you have these negative emotions, we consider it is bad. And that's why we can't be happy when we have bad emotions. Well, let me break that belief for you. Because true happiness comes from emotional agility, from emotional flexibility. And that is the ability to feel all of your emotions without feeling guilty or judging them or categorizing them into good and bad. Because at the end of the day, an emotion is an emotion. An emotion is a reaction to a situation you're in or people you're with. And all of our emotions, believe it or not, science tells us this, and this science, like the research around emotions, is also relatively new and fresh because they're currently working on so many studies that have so many insights on what emotions actually are. And here's just a tiny part of it. Our emotions can be seen as our guides, helping us, all of them, the good ones and the bad ones. They want to help us navigate through life because their one goal is for us to survive. So we need all of them. We need anger. We need fear. Fear is like one of the most important emotions out there because the only goal fear has for us is that we stay safe. So we need to learn to be flexible with all our emotions, allow them in, and like everyone there is, we have to allow every emotion in and allow ourselves to feel that emotion in order to feel true happiness. Because happiness doesn't only come from joy, it comes from emotional flexibility. Just imagine this. Imagine you're trying to hold a beach ball underneath water. Like you're in a pool, it's summer, it's nice, you're joyful, and then you have this beach ball and you're trying to hold it underwater. At first, it's easy. I mean, you've probably done this in your life. It's easy, you can hold it, maybe it gets a bit hard over time, but it's out of sight, no big deal. But then the longer you hold it underwater, the more energy builds up and it always ends up popping back up. Sometimes it's just like jumping out of the water a little bit, but sometimes it can jump very far out of the water. I don't know, maybe you have this image in your head of you in your last vacation or something. It can pop back up with so much energy that it's out of control. And that is exactly what happens with suppressing your emotions. For example, when you suppress fear or sadness, and many people suppress sadness because they don't allow themselves to be sad or sit in their emotion. So they suppress it, and it, just like the beach ball, it will come back up. There's no way of keeping them downstairs and never having a look at them. That doesn't work, because our body will eventually build up the energy and bring them back up. And once they're back up, it can get out of control. So emotions, they're not meant to be kept in place. They're meant to move. They're meant to flow through you. You are meant to experience your emotions like flowing through your body, realizing where they are in your body, and then working with them instead of against them. So emotional agility isn't about controlling what you feel. It's about allowing yourself to feel without losing yourself in it. And research even backs this up. Studies show that people who allow themselves to feel their negative emotions feel less stress, less anxiety. They overall have a better psychological outcome than people who suppress their negative emotions. So, happiness isn't the absence of negative emotions. It's knowing how you can move through them. Quick interruption, I just wanted to let you know that I have a few spots open for my one-on-one coaching right now. So if you feel like you want support navigating your own human experience, there's a link in the description for a 15-minute discovery call with me. We meet, we talk, we see if coaching is the right next step for you. Now, let's jump right back into the episode. The second mistake is waiting for motivation to hit. People believe that motivation just comes and goes. And then there's moments where we feel motivated and we don't know why, but then there's just like, I'm motivated so I can actually do what I promised myself I would do. And then there's moments where I don't feel like it, so I won't do it. And this waiting to feel like doing something is what keeps us unhappy, because motivation is a result of action. It doesn't just happen to you while you're sleeping or while you're chilling on the couch. No, you have to take a step for motivation to be happening. Because how it actually works is, by you taking tiny steps of action, you create what is called momentum. And momentum is what creates motivation. So what we actually need to be doing is creating momentum for ourselves so we can act upon it and be motivated and just keep on going. Motivation is like trying to push a train from standstill. I mean, I can't do it. I don't know if you can, but you cannot push the train out of the station if it's standing still, no movement. But once this train starts moving, it doesn't feel impossible anymore because you have momentum. There is movement there, and you can start pushing the train, and you will feel like you did something, no matter how small or big your action was, but you acting and doing something creates more momentum, and that eventually creates motivation. And then at some point the train moves by itself, and that's when we feel good. That's the feeling we've been waiting for. When the movement has already been done, like the train is moving already, and then we feel this hit of motivation because we did something. And that's how it works. And you see, there's no way you can have that feeling when the train is standing still. So you think you need to feel like moving before you start, but you actually need to start before you feel like moving. Does that make sense? And even like successful people tell us this all the time. Leila Hormozi, for example, you probably know her. It's become her slogan, I would say. F your mood, follow the plan. She even has like merch on it. She sells t-shirts. She has these screensavers on it. F your mood, follow the plan. Why does she say that? She's so right. She's so right with this sentence, because mood isn't what's gonna get you going. Feeling like doing something, you should not be waiting on that to actually do something. You should put a plan in front of yourself and act upon it and do the steps. And do the reps. And then you will feel like doing it again and again and again once you see it succeed. So F your mood, follow the plan. That's the slogan. So please remember this. You don't wait for motivation. You move first and motivation will come. Oh, and that's even why in psychology there's this whole thing called behavioral activation. That's what therapists do, especially with their clients or patients that have depression, because it gets them to do something. It's not like they tell their patients who are deeply depressed, oh, just be positive or think positive and let's just wait until you feel like doing something. No, because the only thing that works with people who are severely depressed is get them moving first. Let them do something, act on something, and then their motivation will start kicking again. So action first, feelings follow. Mistake number 3 is doing it alone. Somehow people believe that you have to be independent and strong and do it alone because personal development happens when you're alone in your room hustling and doing the thing. What? I keep hearing from my clients that they don't want to bother anyone with their personal development, or they'll just figure it out by themselves because they always have. Or there's the other side of people, which is also interesting, and they say, I cannot rely on anyone else to help me because they've made some bad experiences in their connections and their relationships, that they don't feel like trusting people with their own personal development. And this thinking has so many reasons. For example, this modern self-help thing is all about being independent, all about doing it yourself. For example, especially for us women, being independent of men, and we don't need men's help because we can do it on our own. And hustle culture, this whole thing about no one is coming to save you, which I partly agree on, but then on the other hand, doing it alone is just way too hard. And us humans, we are wired for connection. Our brains are wired to be in groups, to talk about our struggles, to help each other. That is what we come from. So why should we change that? Because actually, loneliness and isolation can erode happiness faster than anything else. There's this, I think, I think it's like more than 80 years, 85 years long study. It's like one of the most known studies ever by Harvard, and they study happiness basically in people. And do you know what the number one predictor for happiness was? Not money, not fame, not success of any type. It is the quality of your relationships. The people that have healthy relationships, friends, family, community, any type of other groups, they tend to be happier than anybody else. They tend to live longer than anybody else. They tend to be healthier than anybody else. And it even says that the feeling of loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So even if you're healthy, if you're lonely, you're not healthy. So, 2 things. Happiness isn't built in isolation. It's built in connection. And being independent is great, don't get me wrong. But being connected is essential. So go find that friend, go find that family member, give them a call, shoot them a text, whatever it is, stay connected to your people. It's so important. Mistake number 4 is searching for a big life purpose. People believe they need the one thing, their one big why. Why am I doing this? Their purpose. That's like such a trend. And I was even on the wagon for a while and started to freak out because I don't have the one thing why I do what I do. I don't have the one purpose. It's such a hard question to answer. So let me help you here. Meaning, so purpose is created in small, everyday things, in intention, connection, contribution, in small moments throughout your day, every day. That is where meaning is built or found. Not in one thing. You cannot sum it all up into one big purpose. And I have this story, which I love to tell when I talk about purpose, or yeah. My mentor, who taught me everything I know, he had this client once. He was like this big shot CEO in a company. He had everything. He was young, he was healthy, he had money, he had success, he had the title, he had a family, he had everything maybe most of us dream of. And yet he was burning out, feeling empty. Literally, at some point, he was in the clinic because it was just too much. And when my mentor asked him what he was working so hard for, he didn't have an answer. So he did this exercise with him, which I also love to do in my coachings. My mentor made him draw down on paper his tombstone. And he wanted him to really draw it and then write down the things that he wishes to have written on his tombstone. And that was such a big emotional thing for him because it made him realize why he was doing what he was doing, why he put himself through burnout and everything that came with it. And it was the first time he thought about what people, or what he wanted people to remember him by. And you know what that was? Not the company he built, not the money he made, but his family, his relationships, his connections, the way he showed up for people that he loved. And while writing this down on his tombstone, like father or husband and stuff, he realized, and I think this is such a cute story because this big shot CEO has now this bad drawing of a tombstone behind on his desk, like where he works in his office. Behind him is the tombstone that he drew, and you can see it in every meeting and stuff, which is so cute to me because it helps him remember why he's doing what he's doing. And this is such an important exercise, which I always love to do, because in that exercise, when done with effort and seriously, people always realize that life is so much more than what they are thinking about right now. Like, all of us have big goals. All of us want to have so much money and be rich and be happy and have everything we ever wanted from life. And that is totally fine. Go get that, whatever you want. Go get it and do the work and work hard. And I believe in that. But we have to remember that the meaning of our life, our legacy, what we leave behind in this world, is created by the small things, by being nice to other people, by helping other people, by serving other people, and by being close to our family, being there for our family, and loving our family, showing up for them every day. In the small moments. It's not, you don't have to buy your son a car for him to love you. You just have to be there and show up. Purpose isn't about waiting to have the one big thing. It's about asking yourself, who am I becoming in the small moments when nobody's watching? It's about asking, what am I doing this for? It's what you do with intention every day. Mistake number 5, our last mistake for today, is chasing goals for validation. People think happiness comes after success. Once we have the new job, once we have the bigger apartment, once we have X amount of money, we will finally be happy, right? But what nobody tells you is that success without alignment feels empty. Your goals should support your life, not replace it. And look, I get it. I mean, I am a high achieving person. I want to get the biggest things, and I want to leave a legacy for my kids and their kids and their kids. I have very high goals and I set very high standards for myself. So I get it. But what is the point in trying to work towards a life that is no fun living in? Success without joy isn't really success. It's performance. So here's what I had to learn, and maybe you do too. Success, it's not a finish line. It's not a number in a bank account. It's not the next achievement. Success is how it feels to live inside your life. And if you want to shift this, you can start small. Just start by asking yourself, how can I make today successful for me? Not for Instagram, not for your parents, not for your boss, not for anyone, but for yourself. What would make today successful for you? And then do it. Do the action, even if it's tiny. It doesn't matter. Because the more you practice with that question in mind, the more you will feel like your life belongs to you. So I highly recommend following through and being honest to yourself. Just be honest to yourself. Have that respect towards yourself. And when you catch yourself making any of these mistakes, it's okay, but correct afterwards. Because you decide where you go next. So keep your eyes open, be intentional about what you do, and start to build the happy life you always wanted. And if you came this far, please DM me on Instagram and say that you watched until the end, because I'm always so grateful to you guys, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Have a great day.